Excellency Ministers, Deputy Ministers, Ambassadors of ASEAN countries and India, ladies and gentlemen. I am also very honored to be present at the section number 4 of ASEAN-India Business and Investment Meet and Expo today. I believe that discussions in this session with the title Trade and Investment for a Forward Pace will bring a deep and a practical meaning to the common concern of ASEAN and India in terms of fostering trade and investment cooperation. I also fully agree and share with the presentation from our colleague from the Philippines and Cambodia. So, ladies and gentlemen, India has always been an important partner of ASEAN in general and of Vietnam in particular. Today, India has become one of the 10 largest trading partners of Vietnam, while Vietnam is among top 4 trading partners of India in ASEAN. Bilateral trade has seen continuous growth for the last many years. In 2017, the two-way trade turnover between Vietnam and India has reached $7.7 billion, and in terms of investment in 2017, India was top 30 biggest FDI investor in Vietnam, with totally 169 projects and total registered capital of $756 million. Within the framework of this, the content of this session, I would like to share some suggestions to further strengthen the trade and investment relation between the two regions in the coming time. First, we think that the two sides should cooperate to strengthen the efficiency of the regional value chain. India and the ASEAN and Vietnam in particular will participate in regional value chain that have not yet fully developed. To that end, it is essential to identify specific areas where Vietnam or ASEAN and India have a comparative advantage in order to create economic complementarity. For example, India now the major supplier of textile, footwear, and mechanicals for Vietnam. So India might consider to invest in textile garment and the chemical production in Vietnam, and by that it can create trade of equipment, machinery, spare part, consultancy services, and materials that needed for production of those goods for the Vietnamese market, and also able to export to the third country under free trade agreement in which Vietnam and ASEAN is state member. Second, we would like to suggest that India and ASEAN country to have a regular information system. The two regions should regularly inform and update each other about the change in policies and regulation to ensure the compliance with the WTO rules and promote policy transparency. And we can limit the investigation obligation of trade remedies measure and the trade barriers applied to the export goods of each party. And by that, we could ensure that the fine trade and investment relation between two regions will not be affected. So both sides should have a consultation with the other parties before applying any trade remedy measures, such as safeguard and anti-dumping, etc., so that we can avoid any overreaction from the related parties and keep trade exchange going smoothly. Thirdly, currently, we are very pleased to welcome many large Indian corporations and companies have invested in Vietnam in many different fields, such as energy, petroleum, chemicals, processing industry, with a total number of, I have mentioned, 169 projects with almost $800 million US dollars, and with a new, very transparent, informative, open environment created for business and investment in Vietnam and ASEAN, we are expecting more Indian companies to come to invest in ASEAN in general, and in Vietnam in particular. On the other hand, the investment from Vietnam in India still remain very modest, with a few projects less than $1 million US. And the Vietnamese enterprises also might consider investing in seafood processing in India to export to Vietnam, or invest in information technology sector, as India has many high quality engineers, and to have, or they want to have, early access to the fourth industrial revolution here in India. So in order to achieve that, it is hoped that India government would shape an easy to approach and a transparent support policy to create more favorable conditions for the Vietnamese and ASEAN businesses while learning about investment environment in India. Distinguished delegates, ladies and gentlemen, before ending my words, I would like to express my sincere thanks to the organizer for hospitality extended to me and our delegation in the last 2 days. We strongly believe that the trade and investment relation between India and ASEAN will be growing very steadily in the future. Thank you very much.